this is the first lesson of Cambridge ICT for grade 4 students. Now we have to develop real programs through a software which is given in the Cambridge organization, and this is very similar to our national syllabus also. They are also using Scratch software, and here in the Cambridge syllabus also we are using Scratch. So the ultimate goal is to develop Scratch software. So you can develop your own games, you can develop your own cartoons from the Scratch. So Scratch is that kind of base programming language. That's actually not a language, that's a programming software. Okay, so before going there, we have to get some theory knowledge about this program development. When we talk about the theory knowledge, first thing is we have to identify what are input devices, what are output devices, because in the program, inside the program, we are going to talk about inputs and outputs. So I believe that we have talked earlier in our lessons what are inputs and outputs, but here also I will try to memorize that thing for you and make a retouch of that thing. So before going to that thing, basic thing is we have to identify what are input devices, what are output devices, what do they do. So that is the ultimate goal here. Okay, so when we talk about the computer is mainly having three processes. We call them input, then process and output. So it's all about these three steps. So input, we are inputting something, then it's getting processed, and then it's get the output we wanted. Okay, so here in this part of the lesson, we are not going to talk about this process part. Okay, it's a different lesson because it's done by the CPU. Okay, CPU is like the brain of our computer, which we have to talk in depth. Okay, so we are going to talk about input and output devices in order to build our computer programs. Okay, so we'll first move into the input devices. So what are input devices? Input devices are mainly used to enter data and instructions to the computer. We know the main function of the computer starts with an input. Computer is not an automatic device which can operate 100% without any user's interaction. So there should be an interaction, there should be a help from the computer user. Okay, computer is not a robot. Okay, computer is a machine which can act according to the data and instruction. So we give data and instructions. Usually you can understand data. If when I am telling input devices are devices which input data and instructions, you understand data part. What are these instructions? So I'll explain this to you by drawing some most popular input devices. Most of the time you all have worked with these input devices. Then you will remember, yeah, I have used this thing. Okay, let's see what are the main input devices of our computer. So I have drawn four major type of input devices. Like I'm pretty sure you can draw better than me. Like don't care about my drawing. So we'll learn what are the names of these devices. Okay. So the first one is very famous. Our most used mouse. This is the most used input devices. Okay. So mouse. Then we have the other major input device, that is keyboard. Okay, so when we compare this mouse and keyboard, there is some problem. Who is the leader of input devices? Okay, so most of the time people think it's mouse, but unfortunately it's not mouse. The primary input device of machine is, or the computer is, keyboard, because just keep in mind we can work with the computer by connecting only a keyboard. Okay. That means if you connect only the mouse, you won't be able to do all the things done by a computer. But if you connect the keyboard, yes, even without a mouse, you can continue to work with the computer. So keep that thing in your mind. So this is known as screen. What is this one? This is a microphone. We call it mic. It's totally fine. That's a standard acronym you can use like this. Okay, the real one is microphone. Okay, and this is one of your favorite. Okay, I don't know what is like for you. This is a joystick. Okay, most of the time our voice joystick. Our voice knows it better than our girls because this is totally connected to gaming, nothing else. Okay, so these are four input devices. Okay, as we talked earlier, input devices are for the main purpose of inputting or entering data or instruction. Most important two words. One is data, one is instruction. Most of the time, people think, students think it's only data. No, we'll talk. Okay, so both. You should write both. You should keep in your mind both. Okay, there are a lot of input devices, but for your grade, the grade 4, this is more than enough. Right, I hope you can get the understand about these input devices. So we have to keep this thing in our mind because we are going to make computer softwares which are going to work with these input devices and output devices, which we are going to talk later. So we have done one part of our lesson. What is one? About input devices. We have another remaining over here. What is that one? That is output devices. It's not enough to learn only about input devices. Now we have output devices because when we input something, there will be some process inside the computer. There will be something happening inside the computer. But in order to see that or hear that one, we should take that information out of the computer to use that thing. Okay, so what are output devices? We can write like this: the devices which helps to get the information out from the computer are known as output devices. Okay, again, so we'll learn in the same way. You guys want to see the pictures now? So we'll go with that one. Okay, I'll draw like four main output devices, then you can understand now, like, yes, that is true. These things are totally the opposite of the things we talked earlier. Okay, so the output devices are the thing of input devices. The object and the purpose is also totally different from the devices. Okay, let's see what are the main output devices available with the computer. Alright guys, we have drawn four output devices here. I guess you have seen at least three of these. I'm pretty sure like most of you have seen all the output devices drawn here. So these are output devices. I will tell you one easy way to identify these output devices. Okay, when there is a list and when there is a question to select the output devices, it's very easy to identify output devices. How we are going to identify output devices? Please keep in mind, output devices are always giving us something out of the computer. So we are not using that device to put anything inside the computer. It's always giving out something. Okay, so our first output devices. Without this thing, our computer will not work. Okay, so you all know what is the name. This is monitor. Okay, some could say this is a screen. Okay, this is a TV. Okay, this is a computer monitor. This could be in different sizes. Okay, this is for our personal computer. Okay, this monitor can be used. Okay, I hope you can identify this one. What is this one? This is a projector. For what purpose we are using a projector? It's like the elder brother of our computer monitor. Monitor is showing the display out. That means graphics or the images or the animations out or the videos. Okay, but for a limited size, it's for a personal computer, it's fine. But if you want to show that thing, that animation to a huge audience, a large audience, so a monitor is not a good size. So now you want something to display the information in a very big screen. So the best one is the projector. Okay, so projector is the ideal device for that thing. Okay, who is the next one? Next one is speaker. Speaker. Speaker is also an output device. The opposite or the connected device of speaker, which belongs to input device, is mic. Mic we are using for entering sound into the computer. The speaker is in the opposite thing. It's taking sound out of the computer. This speaker could be a headphone, Bluetooth speaker, or a wired speaker. Anyway, there's a speaker. So speaker is the output device for getting outputs in sound. Now, what is this one? I hope you have seen this one also. This is a printer. Okay, nowadays, like lot of homes have printers at their homes. Okay, so printer is used to take output in hard copies. What are hard copies? Hard copies means papers. Okay, basically papers. Like if you want to take an image or you take an article to a paper, we can use a printer. That is also an output. So these are the major output devices that can be connected or available with the computer. So I hope today's lesson was interesting because these devices we are using daily, but I'm pretty sure that you don't have the correct, you didn't have this correct knowledge previously. I think it's now completed. So we know input device, we learn for input device of this thing, and we learn output device again for output device, and we identified the responsibilities and the task of each output devices. And that is the today's lesson, guys. So we will be doing the next lesson in the coming days. So until next day, have a good day. See you again.